Welcome back to California Cooking. Here's what's coming up on today's show. Jake Cohen has a new cookbook called Jewish, and he's showing me how to make one of his favorite appetizers from the book. Then I'm making a cheesy asparagus stuffed chicken. And finally, I'm learning how to stir up the most delicious pasta sauce I think I've ever seen. Jake Cohen is young, talented, and a foodie, of course, and he just debuted his new cookbook called Jewish. I got a chance to catch up with Jake and learn how to make a carb lover's dream of an appetizer. Take a look. Jake, hi.
Hello, hello, hello.
Before we get into the book, we have to discuss one thing, Jake, and that is our mutual admiration for the barefoot Contessa Ina Garten.
I mean, who does? Get someone on your show who doesn't love Ina Garten.
Because what's wrong with them?
She followed me on Instagram for a full 24 hours before unfollowing me, and I still love her. I mean, she could do nothing wrong. Like,
Jake,
she could have like.
What did you do to get her to unfollow you?
And I still would love her. I don't know, but you know what? Listen, it was an honor just to be nominated. That was it.
I can really tell with your book, and it's called Jewish. It really goes back to family, it goes back to culture, and really kind of tapping into, you know, what makes us who we are, and that's what we can share with other people.
100%. To me, something that I've always struggled with growing up in New York, in a relatively Jewish community, is the idea that Jewish identity was typically like segmented for Hebrew school or for Seder with your family, but it was not necessarily something that you leaned into every day. Mm-hmm. It was something that was just on the side. And for me, I wanted to really explore what that meant for myself, for my husband, as young queer Jews in New York, to really just like find celebration and passion in every aspect of our identity, and that includes being Jewish.
For people, you know, listening to, it's like, oh, you know, you relate to the Jewish deli, and you get the, you know, the knish and the cold cuts and the sandwiches, but it's so much broader than that.
We live in this like Seinfeld, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel vacuum.
Right.
And listen, it's true. That was my life growing up, was the Seinfeld of people the screaming, and then George Costanza's parents, and then Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I live in the same apartment building as my sister and my mother. We're streaming from my sister's apartment because she has a better
Stop
kitchen
it! You guys all live in the same building?
Yes. But when I met my husband, we realized that we had completely different definitions of Jewish food. Yeah. He's Persian Iraqi, I'm Ashkenazi. He had never heard of babka, and at the same time, I had never heard of kubba, or I'd never heard of Persian tadik. And all of these are dishes that are used for the same rituals: Shabbat, Passover, Yom Kippur, break fast, all of the things that are really like, I would say the important ones for relatively secular Jews, but our menus were completely different. And we really got to explore that as a couple.
For people too that maybe don't know like the story and the history, you know, behind some of your food and what it means to be Jewish and the dishes that have come from generations, how would you describe your cuisine, or what does it mean to you?
It means the world. I could cry right now. I've been crying a lot throughout this whole process, but like so many of these recipes are tied to family members on my side and my husband's side. And as I've gone through this process, I've learned more and more. My Aunt Lottie, my great Aunt Lottie, always made meringue cookies. Her recipes in this book, the little tweak for me, it wasn't until the book process, and actually after she passed, I found out of her experience in Nazi Germany and what she had to go through to come to America. It wasn't until I started cooking with my mother-in-law that she told me the stories of her family having to flee Iran during the revolution. You get just such a deeper connection to what our families have gone through to bring these recipes to America and raise us in these homes in which we really are so free from so many of the hardships that they had to face. So to me, I find it incredibly important to preserve these recipes and these stories.
And also, I think what's really cool about the book, you're not too precious about recipes, right? Because now grandmothers could get mad, or mom, like, that's not how I do it. But you really kind of take this modern twist and turn it on its ear sometimes.
I don't take myself very seriously. I don't think anyone should take themselves very seriously. Yeah. I will leave you, since Passover is coming, there is this song that everyone sings, Dayenu. And the whole point of it is it means it would have been enough, and it's having to do with like if any of the miracles of the Exodus, exactly.
Yeah.
If any of the miracles of the Exodus had happened and only one of them happened, it would have been enough.
Yeah.
I think that act of extending gratitude for the little to the big can really trickle down to every aspect of your life.
Do you have a favorite recipe or a most cherished recipe in the book?
I think probably the challah, just because of the fact that it's something that has been very important to me during the pandemic. I never used to make it often. It was like a special occasion thing. And now I make it every Friday.
Really?
I think it is the most meditative, important thing. I think there's something so incredible about like just getting into a dough, understanding it, and just baking bread for people you love. It's a true act of compassion.
So you are going to make a little something for us. I've had a borika.
Borikas.
Now, is there a particular holiday when these would be served, or how would you describe this dish?
This is a pastry that you pick up, and it's like the perfect little snack meal.
Okay.
It's little, I say little in a Jewish way, like it's huge, depending on how much you get. Like you never know. Today we're doing a twist on the potato one, which is one of my favorites.
Yes. Do you make your dough, or do you buy?
No. I'm using puff pastry from the store. The filling could not be any easier. It's just potatoes and leeks cooked down with milk and mashed up with feta.
Almost like you're making a mashed potato, sort of, like a rough
This
mash.
is like Mediterranean mashed potatoes. We're just gonna shove in about 2 tablespoons. I like to really pack it in because
and it's a carb lover's dream, Jake, right here.
I mean, potatoes, dough stuffed with potatoes. And then we're just gonna use a little egg wash and brush the sides. One side there, and this is just gonna help everything stick together. We don't want anything opening up.
Yep. Okay, so you press it into a triangle.
Exactly. Just want to seal the edges a bit, and then we're gonna go over it with a fork.
Yeah, crimp it on the edge.
And then you go with a fork and you just crimp the edges, just to make sure everything's sealed. Then once you do this, we would just brush these with egg wash and sprinkle them with whatever garnish you like.
Yeah.
I love sesame seeds and some flaky sea salt. And
voila!
This is what they look like when they come out of the oven. I mean, they're just like flaky and golden, and you get this beautiful like height of the layers. I mean,
Jake, yum. Do it. Show me the inside. See, okay. And then how long do you bake them? Not that long, right?
375 for about 25 minutes. You can make them in advance and then reheat them, or you can get them all like set egg wash on your tray.
Yeah.
Pop them in your fridge and then bake them off right before your guests come.
Jake, love it. That's so good. You're the best. Congrats on your new book, Jewish. You're the best, Jake. Appreciate it so much.
My pleasure.
Bye. Those borikas were so easy to make. I literally made them a few days later. I happen to have some potatoes in the fridge and some leftover puff pastry. They were so good. Congratulations, Jake, on the new book. Coming up, I'm learning how to make a homemade pasta sauce from 2 Italian brothers who are LA food veterans, and they happen to have a new restaurant in town. But first, I'm showing you how to turn a boring chicken breast into something more exciting and delicious. And we're gonna find out if Levi approves. That's coming up next. Okay, weeknight chicken dinners can be boring, but here's a new idea that I think you'll actually be excited to eat. Take a look. All right, just flattening some chicken breast over here, which is the key to this recipe. And the way I flatten chicken, just put the chicken breast in a Ziploc, take your rolling pin, and I thought about stuffing chicken. I remember that was something my mom used to do a lot in the 80s. Like she'd stuff it with stuff and stick the toothpick in. So I happened to see these beautiful asparagus. It is asparagus season, springtime. And I thought, okay, what can I do with these? So I'm gonna stuff my chicken breast with some asparagus, some prosciutto, and smoked Gouda. This is a pretty easy, this could be a weeknight meal as long as you get all your stuff prepped. To our chicken, we're gonna add some salt, a little garlic powder, maybe some paprika, some pepper. Just kind of get both sides covered with seasoning. Let's stuff, see how we do. We've got, I think I'm gonna do prosciutto first. 1 asparagus, our smoked Gouda. I'm gonna put that in the middle. Let's see if we can make this into a cute little package. 1 toothpick, 2, 3. We'll do a couple more. You could just bake them like this, or grill them even, but I'm going to take it a step further. So I'm gonna bread my chicken. Over here I've got some flour, 2 eggs, and some breadcrumbs. And I am a sucker for a breaded fried chicken. Let's season each station. Salt in each one, salt, salt. Some garlic in each one. You wanna season all 3 steps. And some smoked paprika. First step is flour. Shake it, and then in the egg. And now breadcrumbs. Done. Now, we get a skillet going with, I'm gonna use some safflower oil, shallow amount of oil, just enough to coat the bottom. We'll get it on medium heat. I think our oil is nice and hot. Yes, you want the sizzle. Okay. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Okay. I've got the oven at 400. And we're gonna just cook them all the way through. Look at these beauties. They look good. Look at how brown, crispy. I would say they were in there maybe 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, but you want them cooked all the way through. And I would let them rest for a little bit because the cheese, but we have to peek. So you wanna take the toothpicks out. Let's take a peek. Look at that. You see the prosciutto, you see asparagus, the smoked Gouda. I already snuck a bite. It's really good, and you know what makes it good? The Gouda cheese. The smoked Gouda is everything in this dish, but it's so yummy. It's cooked all the way through, and the breading is nice and crisp, not boring chicken. The chicken was tasty, and I'm telling you, it was the smoked Gouda that was the trick for that recipe. Coming up, we're gonna see if Levi gives that dish a thumbs up, and I'm also learning how to make the most amazing pasta sauce from the owners of Brothers Meatballs. I know I'm no Italian nonna, and they make the best sauce, and I always wished I could make it taste like the ones I've tried at Italian restaurants that I've loved. Never been to Italy, but I met these guys, the Corbia brothers, who are from Italy. They have a new restaurant here in Los Angeles, and I tried their pasta sauce. It was phenomenal, and they taught me how to make it. Take a look. How are you guys?
Buongiorno! Ciao Jessica, buongiorno. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you? How's business?
Very good, thank you. Very awesome. Good. We're very happy. Overwhelmed of happiness.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, the fact that you guys as brothers decided to open a business together, and just recently, by the way, Brothers Meatballs, this is a new business. What's it like working together?
Well, we've
Tell
been
me the
working
truth.
together for 30 years, so there was a lot of arguments, a lot of disagreements. But at the end of the day, you know, we love each other. We love to do business together. We've been doing great business for all these years, and so it's great.
Does your older brother boss you around?
All the time. Just like an older brother, yes.
Because you are from Italy, Sardinia, right?
Yes.
Correct.
What was it that you wanted Americans to know about Italian food, and your Italian food in particular?
Well, I think, you know, the comfort, you know, the freshness of the ingredients, you know, the fun actually we're having while we're cooking, because it's a lot about having fun and really loving what you do.
Okay, but do your fellow Italians think you went all Hollywood on them now that you got plant-based food and living in Hollywood?
We did a little bit, yes, of course. I mean, you go to Italy and say, hey, we're doing everything plant-based, and they're like, what? Plant-based? Why? I mean, it was definitely a bit challenging for us at first, because especially for me, cooking for all these years and using regular products, and now turning into, this plant-based, it was definitely a bit challenging. But also, I like the challenges. I like to find a solution, to find a way to get through it. And I can tell you that right now, the reaction we have throughout the weekend has been amazing.
Well, I already told you guys, I had your meatballs that are plant-based. You fooled me. And I don't say that often, because I do think there's a lot of plant-based stuff you try and you're like, no, I can tell that it's not. But the flavors are fabulous.
I wanted to create something that really has the flavor of the real food, of the Italian food, and I'm extremely pleased of the results. I'm extremely pleased of what I was able to create.
I'm learning about Italy. I have never been. Tell us how much it is a part of your culture to not just eat well, but to enjoy it, and family and all that stuff.
I think it's a very important. Again, it's also a way of getting together with the family.
How loud was it with 6 kids in the house?
It was pretty intense. I got 2 little ones, and it's very intense.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine that raising 6 kids with my dad not being at home. My dad was always outside. He was always he was in Germany for many years. So my mom and
God bless your mom.
Was the one basically raising us.
What a woman. Can I tell you guys, so I tried your sauce. You sell your sauces at your shop there. And I had it over the weekend, and I usually make homemade sauce, but I had your sauce, and I treasured this little jar. I was like, don't waste my sauce, I would tell my husband. I read the label too, and this always makes me happy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ingredients. I know how to pronounce them all. And so is this a typical sauce? Is this mama's sauce? What is this?
It's a typical house-made sauce. Yeah, like I said, it's the simplicity of the ingredients. We know sometimes it can get complicated. Try to keep it as simple as you can, because even just by sauteing some carrots and onions on your jar of tomato sauce, honestly, that's all you need.
Okay, I'm gonna still encourage people to buy your sauces, but you guys are gonna walk me through it. I got all my ingredients here.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I can have the Brothers sauce. So talk me through it. What do I do?
So first you want to heat up your little skillet that you have over there. We're going to start sauteing the vegetables before we do the tomato sauce. So you heat up your skillet. You drizzle some olive oil in the skillet. I was probably say about, again, we do large batches. So for the house or for the jar like that, the one that you have, I would probably say 1.5 tablespoon of olive oil. When it's nice and warm, we just throw in the celery, the onions, and the carrot.
I got garlic here. Do I do the garlic yet?
You put some garlic is always good. The garlic is actually very good.
Do I add my tomatoes yet?
Not yet. What I would like you to do is to let those vegetables kind of get a little bit softer. So give it a good, 5 to 10 minutes of a cooking in a medium temperature. And then let them sweat a little bit. Seasoning, you can now add the tomato sauce. And then we let it cook there for a good, like I said, we do a large batch. This one can probably do about 35, 45 minutes.
And I did the whole tomatoes.
Great, awesome.
Now, the other thing, guys, your basil. Do you
Correct.
add the basil and let it cook the whole time, or do you add it later?
I added the basil leaf towards the end when it's almost, the sauce is almost ready. I usually use an immersion blender or one of those hand blender and mix it all together, and I make it this nice, thick, juicy, really good tomato sauce. Once you start making pasta with the sauce, you'll
never go back.
Absolutely. I'm using this one here. I'm taking those sauces to my kids at home, especially the meat sauce that we have over there. I don't say anything to them that is a plant-based. They eat it like it's just regular bolognese sauces.
For people to get the come and get the meatball sub, but they can also come and get the sauces. Do you guys sell them online yet, or just in the shop?
Not yet, not online yet. We definitely sell them to the stores. We have the whole full wall full of sauces here. Definitely can come up to us, inquire about the sauces.
So when I'm done cooking my sauce, I'm gonna think of you. Should I just make a little spaghetti to go with it? What do you think?
Spaghetti, penne, rigatoni, ravioli. You can do ravioli in a tomato sauce. Oh, any pasta will work.
You guys, thank you so much for sharing your recipe with me. Mama's proud, Mama's proud.
Mama,
Yes.
there you go. Thank you, Mama.
Grazie, Papa.
Yes, thank you.
Mwah.
Thank you, Jessica. It was a pleasure talking to
Grazie,
you again.
Jessica.
Thank you.
You too, guys.
Enjoy the sauce.
All right.
Bye. That sauce was so easy. It's stuff I knew, but it's putting it in the blender that changed everything. Thank you, brothers. Okay, on to Levi Likes It. You know that chicken breast I made just a few minutes ago? Well, I try it out on Levi. Let's see if he likes it. Hello.
Hello.
See these little chicken pinwheels? I made it with a creamy tomato dipping sauce. Do you want to give them a try? Give it a little dip.
Puppy.
You took the vegetable out. Okay. You like it? Thumbs up? So predictable. As kids do, he took the veggies out, but he ate all of the chicken on his plate, so I still consider that a success. Well, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
The asparagus is good.
No, I don't like it inside of it. Yum. Yum. Yum.
Dip, dip, dip. Yum. What's in the middle?
I forgot.